Hey, you all, and good morning. Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the Great River Road alongside the Great Mississippi River. And currently we are in Chester, Illinois. Now, Chester, Illinois, possibly known best for being the home to this guy right here, Popeye the Sailor Man. So Popeye the Sailor Man actually born alongside the Mississippi River, probably did some of his early sailing up and down the mighty Mississippi. But Chester, Illinois, the home of Elsie Segar, who was the cartoonist that actually created Popeye the Sailor Man. See there, the comic strip and cartoon icon Popeye the Sailor Man. Definitely remember him from my childhood. Olive Oil, Popeye, and Bluto. Bluto would always kidnap Olive Oil in kind of a disturbing scene, and Popeye inevitably would rescue her, but first he had to eat a can of spinach, which would make his muscles grow giant, increase his punching power, and he would pound the crap out of Bluto. And we see here, it says this monument erected in tribute to Elsie Segar. He was the cartoonist from Chester, born in Chester, 1894, who created Popeye the Sailor. Actually died in Santa Monica, California. And it says here, Mr. Segar created Popeye from his recollection of Frank Rocky Fiegel, a local scrapper, like a guy that liked to get in fights. Which is really interesting because there's actually, this point is contended. There is, the city of Santa Monica claims that the inspiration for Popeye is actually from Santa Monica, a sailor by the name of Ole Olson, who actually does have some resemblance to Popeye himself. So what was it? Was it Rocky Fiegel or Ole Olson from Santa Monica who inspired Popeye? It's entirely possible that it could have been a collaboration of the two. That's not necessarily, when you're a creative person, you don't necessarily just take things from reality and repeat them. Sometimes you take and mix things. So I think it's possible that both of these local characters could have been the inspiration for Popeye. It's a time capsule here. I always get excited when I see time capsules. One day I want to go to a time capsule opening, but they're always so far in the future. This one's not getting open until 2082. It was buried in 1982, so a 100-year time capsule. Is that the standard? Do they want to make sure that everyone that was around when the time capsule was buried is dead? And over here we have the Chester Welcome Center. And I think we can peek inside here. Okay. Yeah, you can see as you come in here, we are greeted to Chester by Popeye. And we have some exhibits in here talking about Popeye in the Popeye extended universe. There's actually like some more obscure characters here that you maybe, like, I necessarily wouldn't remember as a kid. These appeared in the comic book, like the Sea Hag, Bernard the Vulture. That's Eugene, the Jeep. Yeah, the original comic, Thimble Theater, Popeye wasn't even in the comic originally. It centered around Olive Oil and her brother Castor Oil. Then later he was introduced, was a big fan favorite, and kind of took over the lead role there. You can see there the stained glass Popeye window. Some information here on the Great River Road, something I've learned quite a bit about in the last week or so. And this is, okay, here's where we are right now in Chester. Just came from St. Louis, and this winds us down this way. This will be where we're driving today. Oh, up there you can see some Popeye figures. There's a Popeye made out of spinach cans, which is pretty fitting. Oh boy, but they do have this. Of course, 2024, the year of the pressed penny here on the Carpetbagger channel, and get ourselves some Popeye-themed pressed pennies.
Stone Gothic structure dating from 18
I decided to splurge and get the whole gang. But it isn't just about Popeye here. We also have Lewis and Clark, who, of course, begin their expedition in St. Louis to head out west on an exploration, of course, crossing the Mississippi River. And it says here that they camped right in this area and then took the Mississippi River to Kaskaskia. And scattered around town here in Chester are the other Popeye characters, and these are all carved out of granite. You can see Olive Oil there, played by Shelley Duvall in the Robin Williams version of Popeye. She's holding her baby. Sweet Pea there. And then there is Eugene the Jeep, who is actually an interdimensional creature that befriended Popeye and his family. So yeah, the lore goes deep. The lore gets weird. It's an interdimensional creature there. And it was called Eugene the Jeep. I guess Eugene is named Jeep is the species. And it is said that when the vehicle known as the Jeep, I actually see a Jeep right there across the street. When the vehicle known as the Jeep was first put out, it was, put as the GP, the general purpose vehicle, and people knew the comic where they just were familiar with calling this character the Jeep, so they started calling the vehicle, the GP, the Jeep. So he kind of that's kind of his lasting legacy, as he named the vehicle known as the Jeep. Standing over here in front of the county courthouse is another very obscure character. This is Harold Hamgravy, and I don't remember Harold Hamgravy. I don't think he was ever in the cartoon, but he's actually originally was one of the main characters. He was Olive Oil's original boyfriend before Popeye showed up. Apparently they met Popeye as a sailor who helped them on their adventure, and then eventually Olive Oil just ditched him and started dating Popeye. So sorry, buddy. And just down the road just a little bit, in front of the public library, we have a statue of Coal Oil, who is Olive Oil's dad. Yeah, the lore runs deep, and I'm actually curious. If anyone remembers these characters, leave a comment in the comment section. I'm just kind of curious on who remembers these characters, or what characters people actually remember, because they really went all in here. I kind of appreciate them sticking to the lore and using all these different characters that the general public may not have heard of or may not be familiar with currently. See this mural here celebrating Seagar and the Popeye universe. Now, one interesting thing there, last name Seagar, and he actually would put a little cigar on his signature. So that's Elsie Seagar, the creator of Popeye, and the original name of the comic, Thimble Theater. And this is interesting. I kind of like what this mural is portraying. First of all, we have the Mississippi River. We have Popeye sailing down the Mississippi River. He's got Olive Oil. He's got Wimpy. He's got Sweet Pea. He's got Bluto in the boat. They're sailing down the Mississippi River. Yeah, they got their names down there. But they're sailing down the Mississippi and leaving on shore. On shore, they are leaving all the obscure characters from the comics that no one remembers. So they're saying, bye-bye, we're off to the land of cartoons, the land of pop culture infamy. Sorry, guys. See you later. And see Coal Oil and Nana Oil and Castor Oil, Olive Oil's family, waving goodbye. They have become obsolete, and they're waving goodbye. And then Hamgravy over here sobbing away because his girlfriend left him for a sailor. She's going on to become a pop culture icon, and he just has to sit here all sad in Chester, Illinois. And here's a character that that I do remember, Wimpy, the hamburger-obsessed Wimpy. What did he say? That I will gladly pay you tomorrow for a hamburger today. It was actually a chain of Wimpy's hamburgers that went around at some point. I don't know if there's any left. I know that Popeye's Chicken, actually it wasn't based on Popeye, but Wimpy's Burgers was a real restaurant. Now it says here that Wimpy was based on a real person, inspired by Chester Opera House owner Windy Bill Shoeshirt. So I'm sure Windy Bill is happy that he was portrayed in such a manner. Then over here, another mural where we can see the downtown area of Chester, Illinois, the Opera House there, and all the more popular Popeye characters towering over the buildings. Some comic foregrounds here. These are some of the villains. That's the Sea Hag there, the Vulture, Alice the Goon, and then Bluto, who's really the only one that is kind of stuck around. And it says all you can eat for $1 except Wimpy. I guess they're implying that Wimpy eats so many cheeseburgers that if he only paid $1 for all you can eat burgers, he would go out of business. Much like Red Lobster's going out of business because they did all you can eat shrimp and allowed people like me into the restaurant. Wah, wah, wah. My hero. Now this over here is the Opera House that they showed in the mural, and I guess also the owner of the Opera House was the inspiration for Wimpy. But now this is a Popeye museum. See the characters there painted on the window. Let's check this out. All right, so look at this. Up here on the rafters, we have all the characters there, and when they debuted in the comic, you see Olive Oil debuted in 1919. Popeye debuted in 1929. So the front area here is the gift shop where you can actually purchase Popeye-related items. And then back here, this section, this is the museum where items are not for sale. And then, of course, the man himself right there in the center, Mr. Popeye, the Sailor Man, the reason we are all here. Yeah, you can just see all these cases here full of Popeye toys and memorabilia. These plush Popeyes here, all the different kinds. Popeye figures. And up here, we got some Popeye brand spinach, which, you know, is a no-brainer as far as endorsements go. Now look at these Popeye hand puppets here. Oh, we have Olive Oil here presenting this display case to us. Little Popeye figures there. Not only was he a spokesman for spinach, apparently there was Popeye brand popcorn, probably because his name has the word pop in it. You can see the Popeye gumball machines there. I remember these gumball machines when I was a kid. Not necessarily the Popeye ones, but just this style where you flip, you think you put a coin in there and flipped it, and then the gumball would roll out, and then that would actually be double as a piggy bank. It would save your money. There's different games, some Popeye playing cards. There's some Popeye boxing gloves. It says for ages up to 8. So you should put these on your toddlers and let them go to town. Some marionettes there, and little Popeye booties. There is a Popeye pipe, corncob pipe that blows bubbles, and oh, this is a good idea. It's Olive Oil brand olive oil. You can see the Popeye phone up there. I remember these character phones, very popular in the 80s. In this case, are all items from other countries. Yeah, look at that Popeye there. And then these are interesting, these like wooden dolls here. And Popeye, not only a sailor man, but also a cowboy. And there is the movie poster for the Popeye movie. I haven't seen this since I was a very small child. That's Shelley Duvall, who I guess is probably a perfect fit for playing Olive Oyl. And this is pretty cool. These pictures here are when Universal Studios came to town. Apparently when Universal Studios made the announcement that they were making a Popeye section at Islands of Adventure in Orlando, they actually came and made the announcement here in Chester during the Popeye celebration that they previously had in the town. So that's pretty amazing that they came up here to make the big announcement that they were including Popeye in Islands of Adventure. And then in here, they have a non-Popeye section, a little antique shop that connects to the Popeye Museum. Different purses out here, and there's a purse from Alien Con. You know, I've never been to Alien Con. Maybe I need to look into that. Apparently they were selling bags. There is some Disney and Looney Tunes characters there, and quite a collection of dolls here. Dolls from different countries. And there is a snowman angel. I guess they melted. See a Betty Boop doll here, and I was speaking with the owners of the museum, and they were actually giving me some very interesting information about the Popeye comics. Apparently, Popeye actually debuted in a Betty Boop comic, and that was his first appearance before moving into the Thimble Theater comic. And the same woman voiced both Olive Oyl and Betty Boop in the early cartoons, and she is also in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation as one of the grandparents. Here's a fairly rare find. This is a talking Viewmaster. I remember had a lot of Viewmasters, kind of the 3D viewers, when I was a kid. I never had a talking one. I guess they would play some audio along with the pictures. Oh, and look at this collection of beer cans for sale here. There's some interesting beers here. You have Billy Beer, the beer made by Jimmy Carter's brother Billy Carter. There it says right there. I had this beer brewed up for me. I think it's the best I've ever tasted, and I've tasted a lot. He drank a lot of beer, and I think you'll like it too. Later, he admitted that he did not ever drink Billy Beer. There's Old Milwaukee. There's Old Style. Remember, we saw the world's largest six-pack was actually Old Style cans back in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And World's Fair beer. On the side there, it actually has the dates of the different World's Fairs. So just a beer that celebrated World's Fairs. Let's see. There's Hams. Now, does Hams have like I think it has a bear for a mascot? I don't see it on the can, but I think the company used a cartoon bear as their logo for some reason. Now here is the gift shop, and all this stuff is actually for sale. So you can purchase the different Popeye memorabilia here. Here we have some action figures. Some different DVDs here containing the different Popeye cartoons. Oh, there's the Robin Williams movie. Oh, and look at this. You even have the NES Popeye game. You know, interesting fact. This is a thing I know about Popeye is the Donkey Kong was originally supposed to be Popeye and Bluto instead of Mario and Donkey Kong, but they couldn't get the license. But then they later made a game that was featuring Popeye. Here are some of the classic Popeye comics there. Oh, he's using olive oil as a to hold up the sail there, and then giving Sweet Pea some spinach ice cream. You can actually take home your own can of Popeye chopped spinach. Some postcards here. There is the statue of Popeye we saw. There's some, there's all the characters there, and postcards of all the statues around town. Oh, look at that! Got Popeye tiki. Popeye tiki glasses. So great little museum here. For some reason, as I've been standing here, there's been an incredible amount of semis cutting through town. For whatever reason, like a little Main Street area, there's a lot of semis. I don't know. But anyways, it's a great little museum. The couple that runs the museum were just huge Popeye fans. They moved into the town because they loved Popeye, because of the historic Opera House. It used to be ran by the guy that they based Wimpy, the character Wimpy off of. So they came out here as a look at that, another semi, as a passion project, a product of their love for the Popeye and the Popeye comics. They opened this shop and this museum here, and I was delighted when I went in. They actually recognized me from my videos, so we gave me a very, very warm welcome. So yeah, definitely check this out if you're in the Chester, Illinois area. Come by and swing by the old Popeye Museum. So owners of the museum gave me this pamphlet. It gives some information about Popeye and how it connects to the area. And the Opera House that museum is in is where Seagar had his first job. And there is the owner of the Opera House, Bill Schuchert, who he based Wimpy on. And you can see he does look like Wimpy. And speaking of people that look like people, this is Rocky Fiegel, who the town of Chester says is the basis for Popeye. Now, I know there is the competing claim that the real Popeye was from Santa Monica, Ole Olson, but just looking at that picture, you kind of got to think that Rocky Fiegel probably the inspiration for Popeye. That picture there kind of sells me on it. Also, there is Dora Pascal, the inspiration for olive oil. And you see, yeah, basically these characters, these people look exactly like the characters that were portrayed in the comics. And over here, in front of Buena Vista National Bank, we have Popeye's arch nemesis in the cartoons, Bluto here. Get him ready to throw a punch right there into Popeye's face. Stopped off here in Murfreesboro, Illinois, outside of the Murfreesboro McDonald's here, and look what is slurking around right in front of McDonald's. Do you recognize that pose there? So as I travel this great country of ours, I love learning about different legends of cryptids, monsters, and of course, many places have the legend of the ape man, the Sasquatch, the Bigfoot. It's different names depending on where you are at. Here in southern Illinois, he is known as the Big Muddy Monster. And the town of Murfreesboro, every year they have the Big Muddy Monster Festival. It is a beer festival where they drink copious amounts of beer and celebrate the Big Muddy Monster. And they erected this statue just last year in 2023 to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the first sighting of the Big Muddy Monster. Now, one thing you don't necessarily see from this statue, because the statue is statue colored, is that the Big Muddy Monster was reported as being a white monster with red eyes. Let's look into his eyes there. You can't tell if they're red. He's got some interesting lumps there around his eyes. But yeah, this statue built to the specifications of the police report where they first cited the big muddy monster. But yeah, this is an impressive statue, and look at this. He's in full Patterson Gimlin Sasquatch pose there, right here in front of the McDonald's. So a great statue of a great cryptid. And you can see he is a big muddy monster. He's got to be at least 7 feet tall. Big guy here. I love the pose. Love the pose of the statue. Is there any more iconic Sasquatch pose than that? Look at me. I'm the big muddy monster. Oop. We have stopped off in Cairo, Illinois, one of the infamous ghost towns of the Mississippi River. This was once a bustling metropolis. It is like sandwiched in between the Mississippi and Ohio River, tucked right in between. As a matter of fact, that's why they call it Cairo. It was named after Cairo, Egypt, from the way that Cairo sits on the Nile. Cairo, Illinois sits on the Mississippi, which is the Nile of the United States of America. And like I said, this was a bustling, busy area. It was big on railroads and shipping and ferry boats. Apparently they controlled all these ferry boats that went around the Mississippi and Ohio rivers. And then over time, the city of Cairo began to become cut off from the rest of the country. They routed the railroads around the town. They built bridges over in areas where people did not need to pass through Cairo, so pretty much cut the lifeblood off. Of course, people no longer had to rely on ferries because the bridges had been built. So Cairo kind of went through one of the largest declines of any city in American history. At the height, there was 15,000 people, over 15,000 people here in Cairo, and that is now reduced to less than 2,000. So you have a big city here, the infrastructure for a big city, but people left. People left in droves to find work elsewhere, to find lives elsewhere. There's even a story about the local high school principal at one point told the children, move out of this town, leave this town. There's nothing for you here. Told them to go elsewhere out in the world and seek out employment and jobs because there was nothing left for them here in Cairo. You can see this building here on the corner has just fallen in, just absolutely collapsed there. And as we walk down this street, one time this was a nice neighborhood, and it has just become overgrown. You can see the trees there. The roofs of the houses have just fallen in. You see trees growing up through the houses here. It's really kind of amazing. Bell House here. It's actually a place where they would make tombstones. It's the out back here where they'd have the tombstones that they made. You can see pretty much been abandoned. On the side of this building, you can see a mural of the USS Cairo, which was a Civil War battleship on the Mississippi. There are still some giant mansions here in town. This is the gate. It says River Lore. And you can just see down this street here, the old Gem Theater. It's the Cairo Chamber of Commerce over here. Back there you can see the river wall. And just see, like, you just see how wide open everything is here. It's just really quiet, this part of town. You just see, yeah, the street lights here, just the large streets, the infrastructure just meant for a much larger place. But yeah, just so much uninhabited here. Now, when referring to Cairo as a ghost town, that may be a little unfair, because as I'm driving through, there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of people that live here, but you can tell there's a lot of people that don't live here. As you drive down through the neighborhoods, you see a house, nice house, they have cars, people living there, but then the next door is just completely abandoned. Maybe the next 3 or 4 houses are just abandoned. There's empty lots. It's just a large city. It's just built as a large city, and there's still people living in it, but it's almost like they're living in a city that's just too big for the people here. Yeah, and in just certain areas like this are completely quiet, completely cut off, and it's just like, for an abandoned city, for a ghost town, there's not a lot of vandalism. There's not a lot of broken windows. There's not a lot of graffiti. It's just like people got up and left. So in that sense, it's a little haunting that there's just so much that just looks like one day they boarded up the movie theater here, boarded up the door, and it's sat here ever since. It doesn't look like there's no spray paint on the building. There's no broken glass. It's just not used. It's just empty. There's just not a lot of people here. Come out to Fort Defiance State Park out here in Cairo. See, across the water there is Kentucky. Got a whole bunch of barges here. Guess towboats are stowing their barges here at the moment. But here at Fort Defiance State Park, actually have an opportunity to see where 2 great rivers meet. There's a little pavilion here where you can actually see where the Ohio River meets the Mississippi. All right, we can just head up there and we can see where the Mississippi meets the Ohio. And there you have it. Over there, that's the Mississippi. It's what we've been following for the past week and a half. And that is the Ohio River. So the Mississippi River is actually the 2nd longest river in the U.S. The Missouri River is technically longer. And Ohio River is the 10th largest river in the U.S. And here is where they meet. Oh, I see someone there. Someone on the Ohio River there in their speedboat merging into the Mississippi. Yeah, at this point, At this point, the Mississippi gets a supercharged burst of water. We saw up in around the St. Louis area, the Mississippi swallowed up, the Missouri River swallowed up the Illinois River, and here it swallows the Ohio River, making the Mississippi a super river as it travels down the rest of the way, rest of our journey. The Mississippi River is fully charged and in top performance. Looks like there may be a lot of flooding here at Fort Defiance State Park, which makes sense because it's pinched between two of the largest rivers in the country. And like the rest of Cairo, it's a lot of abandonment here. Looks like there used to be like a pavilion there that's gone. Down here looks like there used to be some restrooms. They're sealed off. And maybe even like a little concession area here as well. Yeah, there's the top of the viewing platform where we just were, overlooking the rivers here. We have this piece of artwork here at the meeting point of the two rivers. It's called Proceeding On. It says that Lewis and Clark and their group spent 5 days here learning celestial navigation and surveying skills, as I guess they were preparing to head out west. We're not headed west, we are headed south. So another day on the River Road. Tomorrow we should be headed into Memphis, Tennessee, our next major city on the Mississippi River, and from there we'll continue to drift downward at the pace of a towboat. A big thank you to those of you watching, and an extra thank you to those who following along every day on this journey. It really does mean a lot to me. These are long days, and but I've been having a good time, and hopefully my the fun I'm having and the joy I have for what we're covering here, hopefully that translates, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it as well. If you like these videos, of course, subscribing would help. If you'd like to help in other ways, consider contributing to Patreon. $3 or more gets you a postcard once a month. Also doing personalized messages on Cameo. Also selling pins in the Etsy shop. And I'm going to be trying to add some more stuff to the Etsy shop hopefully very soon. All those things are in the description of this video. And all that helps keep this train on the track, this boat on the river, and this dirigible in the air. Until next time, my friends, this one's in the bag.